Go.
Hello, this is Christina DeFazio.
And this is Jessica DePatty, and we are News on the 90s.
This is our special New Year's episode where we will highlight the major events from our current year, 1990, as well as last year, 1989, as there has been a major shift between the two decades.
But we will get to the bottom of the major shift later. Let's begin with politics.
Let's start by seeing what was going on around the world in politics, because this was a major factor in our domestic policies.
To begin, George H.W. Bush was our president, as he still is today. Now, Bush was facing many political issues in foreign countries, such as the Tiananmen Square riots in China, where China was fighting to become a democracy, as well as the fall of the Soviet Union.
Bush and Gorbachev released statements in December of 1989 stating that the Cold War may be coming to an end. At this time, communism everywhere began to decline in power, especially in the Soviet Union, as Mikhail Gorbachev began a policy of perestroika, meaning reconstruction, which allowed for some private business.
Soon after, Boris Yeltsin led a coup of the communist leader, which was greatly supported by the Bush administration. In this way, we became a major factor in ending communism. In addition, NATO agreed to talk with the USSR about reducing the number of short-range nuclear weapons in Europe. In addition, Bush and Gorbachev signed a treaty in 1990 to end chemical weapon production and began destroying their stocks in an attempt to promote world peace.
Now, also at this time, the dictator of Panama, Manuel Noriega, stopped cooperating with the U.S. and began to defy U.S. authority.
In response to this, Bush invoked the power of the troops to invade Panama, seized Noriega, and helped set up the new government.
In the Persian Gulf War, Iraq dictator Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait, and Bush was able to stall the UN invasion to set up a deadline for Iraqi withdrawal.
And most importantly, the Berlin Wall came down, and Eastern and Western Berlin were reunited once again. East Germany and West Germany were also reunited afterwards.
Now we will move on to the domestic issues, or the issues and policies enacted on our home turf. To begin, in 1990, there was an economic depression caused by the Cold War. Soldiers were released, which meant that the industry workers who took their place, while the soldiers were gone, were laid off. In addition, there was a heavy amount of downsizing, as well as a large national debt because we borrowed money that was not available in a futile attempt to promote business in the U.S.
Bush's policies included cutting the capital gains tax. However, Congress defeated this because it became more so a tax break for the rich. It also broke the No New Taxes campaign pledge because taxes increased during this time, and many voters began to go against Bush for his break-in policy.
However, all Bush's enacted policies were not just involved in the economy. The American with Disabilities Act was passed, which forbade discrimination in the workplace and public places. For example, because of this act, many access ramps were built and closed caption TV became more widespread.
Bush also banned the importation of certain guns deemed assault weapons into the U.S. as an attempt to promote peace and security in the U.S.
Another life-changing event occurred in February of 1989. Ron Brown was elected chairman of the Democratic National Committee as the first American to lead a major U.S. political party.
Important events in 1989 and 1990 included the Space Shuttle Columbia on a secret 5-day military mission. Other events involving space are the Voyager 2, past Neptune and its moon Triton, and the Hubble Space Telescope ascent into orbit.
Another major event was the geomagnetic storm that caused the collapse of the Hydro-Quebec power grid, leaving 6 million people without power, including parts of the northeastern U.S. and Sweden. This storm also caused aurora to be seen as far as Texas.
Also in Europe, the first line connection between the United Kingdom and mainland Europe was established. Channel tunnel workers from the United Kingdom and France met 40 meters beneath the English Channel seabed.
Another event was the Loma Prieta earthquake that hit the San Francisco-Oakland region of California. The earthquake was measured as a 7.1 on the Richter scale, killing 6 people and delaying the 1989 World Series.
At the University of Utah, Stanley Pons and Martin Fleischmann announced that they had achieved cold fusion. The Supreme Court also upheld the right to burn the flag.
In 1989, Nintendo released the Game Boy for the first time in North America. Motorola introduced the Motorola Microtac, the world's smallest mobile phone. Also, Microsoft released Windows 3.0.
And now for the news from the entertainment industry. The top-grossing film of 1989 was Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and the top-grossing film of 1990 was The Ghost.
The top films of 1989 were Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Batman, Back to the Future Part 2, and Look Who's Talking. The top films of 1990 were Dead Poets Society, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Rain Man, and Monty Python's Quest for the Holy Grail.
The top TV shows of 1989 were The Cosby Show, Roseanne, Cheers, and A Different World. The top TV shows of 1990 were Cheers, Night Court, Married with Children, Life Goes On, and The Wonder Years.
The top actresses were Kim Basinger, Kirstie Alley, Deirdre Hall, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Cher.
The top female singers were Paula Abdul, Lita Ford, and Joan Jett.
The top male singers were Ozzy Osbourne, Billy Joel, and Robert Plant.
The most popular albums were The Wall and The Dark Side of the Moon, both by Pink Floyd.
In 1989, the FIFA World Cup was won by Portugal, and the 1990 FIFA World Cup was won by West Germany.
The 1989 Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to Tenzin Gyatso, and the 1990 Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to Mikhail Gorbachev.
The 1989 Time Magazine Person of the Year was Mikhail Gorbachev, and the 1990 Time Magazine Person of the Year was George H.W. Bush.
And that concludes our New Year's recap of 1989 and 1990 on News on the 90s.